Welcome back. Now, Namibia is taking a major step towards strengthening its presence that is on the global heritage. Now, the site is renowned for its unique natural landscape, rich biodiversity, and one of the largest concentration of rock art in Africa. Now, to unpack what the nomination means, we are joined by the Director of the National Heritage Council, Ndalikokule, and archaeologist Lenishwa Engelbrecht, just to tell us more about this achievement. Welcome to Daily Roundup this evening.
Thank you.
All right. Just to start off, Ms. Erica, we'll start with you. Why is the nomination of the Dâures Brandberg National Monument Area for the World Heritage status important for Namibia at this time?
Yes. Good evening, Selma, and good evening, our viewers and listeners. The nomination of the we have our first site, which is a cultural heritage site, Twyfelfontein in Ice, and a natural site, which is the Namib Sun Sea. The Brandberg comes in with a unique the status is really desirable at this point in time for many different reasons, of which some I can actually state that it will enable the people in this area, and more if I speak of the region, it is a window for diversification of a tourism product in the area.
All right. Yeah. Lenishwa, just to get to you, from an archaeological perspective, what makes the Brandberg area so unique and globally significant as well?
Well, as explained by my director, this is one of the sites we are approaching to get inscribed on a mixed basis. So in other words, it's culture and it's nature. And to summarize this, it will be quite difficult because we are writing an entire dossier trying to justify that very fact. But I can break it down into three factors. It's the cultural history, it's the natural biodiversity, and then it will be the geological processes. Now, if I have to go a bit deeper in that, just briefly, just to explain, culturally, yes, we know the mountain is known for its rock art. But when it comes to numbers, a lot of people don't realize it's one of the densest concentrations of prehistoric rock art found in Africa. It has about 50,000 rock art, paintings and engravings, a number of archaeological sites, and all of this tells us stories. The natural biodiversity it has is the fact that this mountain is in such a unique location. It has its own climate system, so it has a number of endemic species, which therefore you only find on the mountain, nowhere else in the world. And then with regards to its geological processes, this is a result of a process that took place 130 million years ago. Erosion that continued taking place until today, exposing this mountain to what it is, which is why it has such a almost perfectly round shape and also a dome shape, and it's quite extensive. So that in it all together, all three components, is what we refer to as our it harbors outstanding universal value. So we do think it's a compelling candidate for inscription for UNESCO World Heritage listing.
Indeed. Ms. Erica, what does UNESCO World Heritage, listing mean in practical terms for the protection and management of the Brandberg area?
Definitely in the first place, it is a demonstration of our sense of purpose to the cause of conservation and preservation of our heritage resources on the Namibian territory. Because once we nominate and this site is listed, it's not only going to be looked at as an important site to Namibians, but it will be important to humanity. The status or the global status assists in enabling preservation of the site, that it also draws interest from scientists who may want to come and study specific aspects. because as it was already stated by my colleague here, Lenishwa, it has a lot of rare attributes that deserves to be protected, which are actually tested and they are of outstanding universal value. So having it and included on the, or having it inscribed on the World Heritage List, it just strengthens that aspect. And of course, for immediate local people in the surrounding, it strengthens identity and pride amongst everyone, all the Namibian population. And it then enables us to, sorry, to cooperate, as I mentioned, with other bodies that are interested in conservation of heritage resources.
All right, thank you so much for that. Lenishwa, before we move on to the other question, I'm just keen, perhaps, for the public who doesn't know what an archaeologist is, perhaps just describe what that is, and then we get into the next question.
Okay, yes. So with regards to what is archaeology in general, it's trying to understand human, basically cultural behavior through past remnants. So this is now from anything that has been left behind. So this is what we look at: stone tools, or even burial sites, or even rock art paintings. So based on the physical evidence that is left behind, we try and get an understanding and recreate the story of what was.
Indeed.
Yes.
So were you studying the area before you suggested it for recommendation?
Yes, this was actually a complete team effort. So all of us, we already sat and looked at all our sites on the tentative list, and then we selected Brandberg to be the one to be nominated.
All right.
Yes, and if I may add on that, in terms of studying this area, there was quite a lot of efforts that went into it, because the Brandberg was proclaimed a national monument in 1951 already. So at that time, there was already interest in people having seen that there is something that deserves protection here. And in the course of, whatever time that, or the time that has passed, a number of scientists have also been to the site. Some of them, like for instance, I would like to mention Harold Paga, who worked with local Namibians like Tate Hangula Shipahu and others to document this site. And there is a lot of tracings that are currently stored at the National Archives.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think they did tracings of more than 45,000 of the rock arts that they came across on the mountain.
Interesting indeed. Now, Lenishwa, the Brandberg, of course, is known for its extensive artwork, right? Rock art. What does these artworks tell us about early human life in the area?
Firstly, we have to understand rock art is this is a very technical question, and I don't know how in-depth I can go. So putting aside all the technicalities, when we talk about technique or styles and all that, if we just look at the images that we find on the mountain, whether it's your typical figures and the scenes that are actually depicted on the mountain, you have your hunting scenes, scenes of daily life, scenes of ritual behavior, or even figurative stories. But at the end, from a larger perspective, what these paintings can actually tell us, we are basically getting an insight of the past occupants, their understanding of the world, how they interacted with their environment, how they expressed themselves, and ultimately also their belief systems. So it is actually quite very interesting, and also, then again, it depends how in-depth you would like to go when it comes to interpretation, but in its entirety, it's really an open-air gallery with thousands of images and stories to tell.
And if it's listed, how will this, help in terms of just help from damage, vandalism, or environmental threats?
I think yes. I think when the site is listed on the World Heritage list, it draws attention from everyone, because it is only listed because there is something rare,
of course,
that is not found at any other of the more than 1,000 sites that are already on the list. So in the first instance, it's going to be a collective effort. Because as I mentioned, the status will strengthen, you know, the identity of our Namibians. Everybody would want to see to it that it is really preserved and it is kept intact so that we pass it on to future generations.
Of course.
But of course, we make use of it to benefit the current generations in ways that are not jeopardizing, you know, the opportunities for generations to come to also benefit. So yeah, all in all, as we have mentioned, I've already touched on the tourism aspect of the specific specific area in the region at large. That is not only fishing, not only the tourism, taking people to the sea, but also having other different types of products within the area.
Yeah. Lenishwa, you mentioned that it was teamwork, right?
Yes.
How have local communities and traditional authorities been involved in the nomination process?
Well, actually, with regards to the consultation activities which have taken place, I was present in a few of them, but I think the director can also give a bit more details in that regard.
Sure. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, definitely. As we have explained, the mountain was proclaimed in 1951, and as the Heritage Council, we've only taken over its management around about 20 years ago, around about 2004-05 there. Yes, so it has always been an area that is in the midst of local communities. They looked after it. They respected it because there is actually a number of you know, rituals that they also perform on the mountain. It also has a social meaning for them. A spiritual meaning as well, because they go over to the mountain and perform rituals and so on and so on. So the first point that we needed to, or our first stop was really to say, yes, it deserves to be added, inscribed on the World Heritage List, but how do we do it? We can't do it alone. We have to make sure that the local communities buy in. Is really at the central point of it, because even later on in terms of management and the preservation and care, we don't have the capacity to really look after it, but if the people in the area have been meaningfully involved in the process, then it makes them feel part and parcel of it. So we have, our first stop was at the traditional authorities, where we went to really explain that adding this site on the World Heritage List will benefit us because it adds a level of legal protection at an international level. And it also helps us, that status will also help us to raise awareness of who we are in terms of our identity. And as people come to learn about us, then the many different opportunities unfolds. Because these heritage sites are really money spinners, if I may say. If you look at, for instance, what was happening at Twyfelfontein that I mentioned, it's not so far away from the Brandberg. But if you look at where it was in 2007, when it was inscribed, and the activities and the business activities that are happening in the surrounding today, you really agree with me that these sites are money spinners.
All right, Ms. Erica, we unfortunately ran out of time, so we're just going to end it there. But thank you so much, and all the best with the lobbying, and also hopefully it will be listed and we'll have more tourists come to see that. All right, that was Ms. Erica and also Lenishwa from the National Heritage Council just sharing with us that is about the Dâures Brandberg National Monument Area for the World Heritage, and for it to be, you know, just listed